Hello, and welcome to the Impact Your Fitness podcast, a part of the Think Fit, Be Fit network. My name is Jenn Schwartz, and today I'm going to discuss my favorite things about molecular hydrogen. Molecular hydrogen is a treatment modality here at Impact Your Fitness. We give it to our clients in one of two ways or both, in hydrogen-rich water with minerals or through inhalation. This is done with the Lord's Hydrofix. And that is from a company called Holy Hydrogen that we absolutely love here at Impact Your Fitness. And they have been affiliated with the podcast for about 6-7 months. I've been using this device personally for over a year, and our clients have been using it for about 7 months. The hype about hydrogen is real. It's out there, and it's not as gimmicky as alkaline water. That's my promise to you. I believe it is a missing piece of wellness, fitness, and medicine. It is truly an abundant approach to helping your health. And what I mean by that is, one, hydrogen is the most abundant element in the whole universe. It's the smallest molecule on the periodic table, and it can really help any type of person, or there's just not many limitations on how it can be used, and it's just incredibly safe. We make hydrogen in our body. We also know that it's part of water, H2O, and almost pretty much 90% of the interactions in our body and what we're made up of is hydrogen. So adding extra hydrogen to your water or your air is not a big deal, if you ask me. However, it is a big deal because it can help over 200 diseases. And in fact, it has been studied for that. There are over 2,000 studies on the therapeutic use of hydrogen, and it has been positively implicated in over 200 chronic conditions. I've been using it, like I said, our clients have been using it, so I'm going to go ahead and share some of our favorite things and why, and a little bit about why. This podcast is not long enough to go into every single why and how of the hydrogen, but the basics of it are that it is the smallest molecule. So that means it can move beyond and through our blood-brain barrier and pretty much any cell membrane. So it's a neutral and non-polar element, which makes it it penetrates easily in our body. Another reason it is so hyped and why we use it so much and why it creates so much change in the human body is that it is bioavailable because it is the smallest molecule. And yeah, and then more, I think the biggest thing is like every cell can utilize it in the body. So that's why it can be helpful for chronic conditions, fitness performance, athletic performance, and battling and overcoming the everyday stress and burnout of life. So let's go into 5 or 6 reasons why we're using it. And now, again, I'll share a little story here and there and a little bit about why. But to really get into the science, check out hydrogenstudies.com. We did an episode with a YouTube influencer on hydrogen, Greg the Hydrogen Man, that was an hour-plus conversation on this topic. So here's the shortened version. First reason, it is a potent antioxidant. And molecular hydrogen, being one of the smallest molecules, is also one of the smallest antioxidants. It's neutral and nonpolar, so that means it goes in and neutralizes oxidative stress, which is huge. It easily penetrates the cell membranes and reaches the the parts of the cell that other antioxidants cannot. And that's because other antioxidants like CQ10, green tea, any of those, they're big, large elements and they can't get into the cell. And in fact, if you take too many of these large antioxidants, you're actually increasing your risk for cancer because it doesn't negate the oxidative stress. It just adds to it. But molecular hydrogen does not because it actually gets in there, neutralizing the harmful free radicals and reducing oxidative stress. And this is the reason why it should be a big part of healthcare, is that it can help people fast and quick. In Japan, I've heard that molecular hydrogen, the inhalation, is used in ambulatory situations, like in an ambulance for stroke and heart attack victims. That means they are trying to get at the inflammation of the like tissue that has been damaged. And so like that's an example of it working really fast. I also, well, that's a brain benefit. So we're going to keep moving. Okay. So, with that, it also reduces inflammation. So, number two, the reason why we use it here, especially with our newer clients, is we want to reduce inflammation so that we can help the neuromuscular system perform better. Chronic inflammation shuts down our muscles, but it also creates environments and joints and tissues and organs that doesn't support health. That's the best simple way to put it. Molecular hydrogen treatments reduce inflammation. So if you have a headache, you can sit here and do hydrogen inhalation. It'll most likely help. If you've had a poor night's sleep, do the hydrogen. If you are training a lot and have a big event coming up or your season's coming up, hydrogen's going to help mitigate and keep inflammation in the right places, meaning like growing the muscle and getting stronger while getting rid of the inflammation we don't need. And this is one of the reasons it helps joints so much. So if there's this one cell culture study that showed the hydrogen being able to be a selective antioxidant, which was reducing the harmful inflammation in a joint, even in the cartilage and things, and promoting the cell turnover to grow new tissue. And that's just really interesting. It's like, wow, it can select how it helps and where it helps because it's so small, and it can get things moving through the joint, meaning cell turnover, lymphatic turnover, things like that. Number three, it supports brain health. So there's a lot of studies on molecular hydrogen and brain health because it can cross the blood-brain barrier. This provides neuroprotective effects, and it can help against cognitive decline, it can improve memory, it can reduce the risk of neurodegenerative diseases. And we should all be concerned about that because we all know someone that has a family member, right, that has a neurodegenerative problem. And it's very well studied, the brain health benefits. And one of the reasons why it helps is because it can like trigger the hormone, ghrelin. And ghrelin is what is it called? I think it's a acronym because ghrelin is like a growth hormone thing. So it's made in the stomach and other parts of the body, including the brain. And ghrelin is known as like the hunger hormone, but it also helps with growth hormone as well. So let me see what. So ghrelin really affects the neurons. It affects our leptin, insulin sensitivity, and it also reduces the sensitivity of the gastric vagal nerves. And so it helps with basically rest and digest, all stomach acid, and it also helps the brain. So it's I don't know, it's a pretty big deal actually that it does this. And I think that's one of the reasons that it's so, prolific for brain health. So anyways, let's go keep going down our list. We have one of our favorites, which is enhancing athletic performance and recovery. So there was my favorite hydrogenstudies.com study on soccer players where they had one group drinking water, one group drinking hydrogen rich water before I don't know how long before the sprint session, but intermittent sprints, famous in soccer training, sprint, stop, sprint, stop, sprint, stop. The group that drank the hydrogen water straight up was better, and didn't have as much muscle soreness, didn't have as much muscle damage, and they were faster on their last sprint. So their performance kept getting better during sprints than than when compared to the group drinking water. They measured other biomarkers, not just performance, including muscle damage, inflammation, and yeah, just different parts of the chemistry of the muscle and the muscle damage and lactate and things like that is the most convincing one for me. Being involved in sports for as long as I've have and seeing something like basically just hydrating our body more, being able to push the body to a higher performance level right away. There's a lot of well-known athletes using hydrogen to increase their performance, including Novak. I can't. Oh, now I'm drawing a blank on the other athletes using hydrogen, but I had a list prepared and I can't find it. There's a couple, teams that I've heard using hydrogen-rich water. Wow, even the New York Times covered this. So it discusses the 2020 study of the fatigue levels of, was it soccer players? Not sure. It looks like racing. So I just think that is so interesting. Like I really think we should all take a minute to think about how important it is to hydrate and the fact that hydrogen rich water can be such a game changer. It's full athletic potential. There's just nothing more motivating to me, really. So, okay, number 5, promotes skin health. I love this one because it was one of the first things I saw on YouTube about hydrogen. I watched this woman do a tourism video in Japan, and it was all about her going to these spas and getting hydrogen treatments from, I don't know, they almost look like very basic nail salons, but she went in multiple of these places and people were bathing in it. They were putting it all over their face. And naturally, I started doing that too. So I'll keep you posted, but it's not as like my energy and digestion benefits have been the most obvious to me. And the lack of inflammation in the body is the other one that I noticed. But the skin, I will keep at it. There's no downside to doing it because whatever, at the end of the day, I'm just putting water on my face. That's fine, I guess. So let's go to the last one I want to talk about today, which is hydrogen and the gut. So our whole body is full of hydrogen producing bacteria. And so basically, if we have that bacteria producing hydrogen in the intestines, it supplies hydrogen basically to the rest of the body. So I have a study from the Medical Gas Research, and this was a 2023 publication, and it's just called The Overlooked Benefits of Hydrogen Producing Bacteria. And I'm just going to read part of the intro. Here we go. So, intestinal bacteria can be classified into beneficial bacteria and harmful bacteria. However, it is difficult to explain in the mechanisms that make beneficial bacteria truly beneficial to human health. This issue can be addressed by focusing on hydrogen producing bacteria in the intestines. Although it is widely known that molecular hydrogen can react with hydroxyl radicals generated in the mitochondria to protect cells from oxidative stress, the beneficial effects of hydrogen are not fully pervasive because it is not generally thought to be metabolized in vivo. In recent years, it has become clear that there is a close relationship between the amount of hydrogen produced by the intestinal bacteria and various diseases. And so this report discusses that whole entire relationship. And what I've found to be beneficial with inhaling hydrogen and drinking hydrogen is it basically just primes the stomach to produce more of that bacteria. We had a new client who's been with us for a month. His name is Danny. Danny was drinking hydrogen while he was here. We were also actually just helping him with his knees, hips. And basically a month ago, he could not walk up and down stairs without pain. He could not recover from exercise. And his knees have had several surgeries. He and his wife described them as clunky and basically very painful. After a month, drinking the hydrogen and doing our treatments and our prescribed exercise, he is pain-free on the stairs. He is sleeping better, and he has no acid reflux. He was prescribed Prilosec 2 weeks ago, didn't take it. And when we started using more hydrogen, he basically has not gotten any acid reflux. But before that, he was at the point of tasting it in his mouth all the time. So it was pretty bad. And we contribute that to, of course, using the hydrogen and our treatment methods, because a big part of our initial treatment program is relaxing and recalibrating the muscles of the core. And I have found that a lot of people with acid reflux have imbalances throughout their diaphragm and pelvic floor and neck muscles. So sometimes actually just correcting the muscles can help a lot, but getting rid of it completely, I think it can be contributed to using the hydrogen. So I am so glad I got to share this episode. It's actually going to be the last one for the rest of the year. And we will definitely be sharing this episode with our clients. I've been using this almost daily for over a year. And it's the smallest molecule, but it enhances my biology so much. And I can tell it's a perfect addition to any exercise or long-term healthcare program for yourself. And it can honestly save you loads of money on healthcare costs. That's my real conclusion, is that if you end up taking something like Prilosec that basically ages you and makes you, produce less, let's say, nitric oxide and testosterone, right? That ages you versus, promoting the hydrogen production in your body can make you younger and stronger and save you money on healthcare. Like the HydroFix up front, it's like $2,500. We have a discount code for you, ThinkFit100. And, you drink water every day. So use it every day and you're going to improve your health. It's amazing. So there's probably more to report on for my own body. We've got more client shares. We have one client that in 4 sessions with us, and she used the hydrogen and the Synergy program, had, reduced her migraines, and they were debilitating. So reducing inflammation will help our process. So we're going to definitely be sending this to our clients. If you want to continue your own research on this, There's a big Japanese university that studies this, along with a university in Utah that studies this. But all those studies can be found on hydrogenstudies.com. Holy Hydrogen is also a great resource. They have lots of YouTube lectures and interviews on there. I definitely love their channel. There's Greg the Hydrogen Man too, and the episode that we did. So go ahead, do your own research and report back what you find. Report back if you end up like purchasing this. I would just love to hear from you. Like I said at the beginning, this is an abundant way to approach our body. And I think that's just like the most beautiful thing. And don't forget the reasons why hydrogen is so effective. It's bioavailable because it's small. Every cell can utilize it. It's neutral and nonpolar. It can even penetrate skin. One of my favorite reasons for using hydrogen, we didn't even get into, is that it lubricates the entire skeletal system. And, darn. And then another reason we use it here at the studio is it increases our electrical potential in the body, which I talked about in last episode, the 7 ways we help arthritis. And being able to combat any chronic condition is so empowering, and I just vote for that every day. So thank you so much for joining us on this first season of the Impact Your Fitness podcast, and I can't wait to hear from you. Please hang out and follow along on Instagram at impactyourfitness.net and over at Impact Your Fitness Studio on Instagram. And I will be on Instagram at JenniferSimoneSchwartz.com. Thank you so much.